Hey, welcome back everyone. So in today's video, I'm drawing Batman for you, and I'm going to show you the traditional art sketch, and then I'm going to ink it inside of the Procreate app, but I'm going to show the top-down view the entire time, so hopefully that gives you a little bit better insight and presents the content in a way that allows you to see into the process a bit better. So what this is for actually is I'm going to be coloring the printed version with the Ohuhu markers. Just so you know, I'm trying to say that as clearly as possible. But these markers were gifted to us on the channel here for a sponsored video. I will be giving a little bit of feedback on them. I haven't used them a ton, but I'm excited to bring you this content, and it's a really nice set. I've never really used, actually, I don't think I've ever used alcohol-based markers before this, but they're pretty interesting and fun to use. I've already learned how to blend them a little bit, so I'll be showing you that, but I'm still a long ways off from being proficient with them. So this sketch and inked work is for that purpose, and I asked you guys on a recent post, what would you like to see more of? And you said traditional art, and then it really kind of occurred to me, like, I've been slacking on not producing enough traditional art, which I was in a nice little stream of doing it, and then I fell back into digital, which I like doing both. I really do. I don't want to knock and put one over the other. I really think that in the best case scenario, at least for me and probably for a lot of us, I think it's best to do both. Even if you're a digital artist, I think you should do some traditional. I think the collectivity of it is amazing. Having something tangible to show your work is awesome. It's great for shows, all that jazz. Like it's just good to do it. But I really have a hard time like beating some of the finished work that I can do in Procreate or Clip Studio Paint. So like for instance, I started to ink this traditionally, and I'm just out of touch with it. So and I really need to learn to use a crow quill. I so want to do that and get better with a finer brush. But for now, I'm just not really at that point, and so I jumped into the Procreate app and felt right at home. So for me, it's best to kind of combine them, do a little bit of a mashup, and it still gives me the original pencil art, and then I can ink it, or vice versa. I could I could take like the fully drawn version, print it out on Bristol board, and keep inking until I get the line quality the way that I want. But yeah, and as a matter of fact, I've heard of a lot of comic artists that do that. They'll do their rough sketches inside of the Procreate app or whatever app they prefer. And they see some benefits with that, like being able to rework compositions, make changes, decide, things like that. But at the end of the day, I really enjoy just getting back to traditional. Something about it is just more relaxing. I mean, I honestly think, and this is me saying I think, like I don't know this, but for me, I feel like that digital can be a bit of a stressor where traditional, all that goes away. Like even with the top-down recording, which puts another element of worry in my mind, like, oh, am I messing up? Is this all getting shot on the, is it all on camera? I'm looking up at the thing. It's a distraction, right? But for some reason, whenever I start to draw on paper, I can feel it, like I'm just a little bit more relaxed. Now, I don't know, well, I was gonna say I don't know why that is. I do know why that is, because digital every now and then will start messing up. And so you'll kind of get in the zone or feel like everything's going well, and then it'll start skipping, or the Apple Pencil need to be reconnected, or it's picking up static and you have to like clean the area off and try again, sometimes shut down the app. So that's all a distraction, where traditional, I don't know, I just don't feel that. About the only thing that happens with traditional that's frustrating for me is when I'm getting to a certain part of the design and I realize something's horribly off, usually skewing the work. That's a big one for me. And then I just wish I could adjust it like I could in digital. So that's probably the big difference there. So now I'm bringing this into Procreate. You see it's a real rough sketch. I scale it up to a lot larger size so that I get the line quality I want for the inked line. and then just go to inking, and or digital inks, not actual inking, obviously. But this for me is like the way that feels the most natural. Basically because I have the most time spent. I mean, by a lot. Like I've done a lot more digital inking and coloring over the years, so it feels a lot more natural. It's just the way it is. Keep in mind though, like I just put another screen protector on this because a lot of times I'll get questions. People say like, "How are you getting decent line quality?" And you can do it with no screen protector. I've done lots of pieces where I was able to accomplish it, but you slide more. I mean, and I just went through it again because I don't know what it is, but my eye cares one was skipping real bad. And it wasn't just the screen protector, it was actually the cover. So I took all that off, and I was just getting frustrated with the skipping. And then all of a sudden I took all that off, it went away, it came back intermittently, very little, and I would, like I mentioned about the static, I would clean it, and boom, I was right back to drawing. I wouldn't even have to reset the app. So it was clearly interference with the the device covering both the case and the maybe the eye cares, I don't know. But then I went to nothing, and I'm back to sliding around on the screen again, which was frustrating, but I made myself deal with it for a while just to see if I could acclimate to it and get the line quality I want. It just took me longer, and knowing that, it's frustrating because you want to get this stuff done relatively fast. Like by the end of this one, I'm just showing the sketch and the inks today. It took under an hour. I was at 45 minutes for the inks and 5 minutes for the sketch. So it's pretty quick for me. Like even for a head and bust, like, and I could color this inside the app really fast. Probably another half hour tops or something. But like I said, I'm going to be coloring this with those Ohuhu markers in the next video, just to display them for you and say thanks to that company for sharing them, with me on the channel. And do me a favor, comment below and let me know, like, what ways do you use? Do you use both? Do you use, give us maybe a percentage. Is it like 80% digital for you, 20% traditional? Are you 50-50? I think my goal is to be closer to like 50-50. But mainly just to have a lot more traditional art. I just think in terms of like passing things down to people, giving it out to fans and things like that. Like you just can't, there's no comparison to traditional as far as that goes. But if you can utilize these tools to maybe even speed up your ability to make more traditional art, then I think that's all the better. Like in this case, this one will be finished off with those markers, so that'll be a traditional art piece. But I don't know, maybe I should start the sketching process digitally and then print it out and do, really force myself to get proficient with the inks traditionally. And let me know if you guys would like to see more of that content on the channel. Are you really waiting for more traditional inks? Because, eventually I'm going to get it. I'll force myself to get good with a crow quill, a Winsor Newton brush, all that stuff. And, it's funny because a lot of people, I'm probably thinking like, what's the point with all this stuff being so proficient in digital? Why do it? And I feel like it's almost like AI is like a kick in the pants to say it's even more important to have traditional art. It's going to become more valuable. And even the idea of collectivity, like when things become rare, the collectivity goes up, right? So I feel like that's something that's happened with traditional art. So again, I'm never going to knock digital. Instead, I would rather say, well, I will knock AI art. I'm not a fan of that. But at the same time, I am a fan of using digital tools to make your art faster, make more of it, grow and learn faster. And so ultimately, if you can utilize these tools to even make more traditional art, then I'm a big fan of that. And just remember too, if you want, you can shut off all the options that digital that are there to make it easier. Shut all that stuff off, and you can use it like pencil and paper and pen and paper. I mean, realistically, you can. But again, I don't feel like it should ever replace doing traditional art. Yeah, even here, it was started to skip. And so what you see me doing there is I was actually reconnecting it to the top, and it was a little bit fast, so it's probably hard for you to see. For some reason, and this is without the case, it even helps to take the Apple Pencil tip and tap the side of the metal. I think, to me, what that's doing is it's breaking that static issue. Because I've even noticed when it's acting up like that, if I wipe the table down with like a light mist of water, it just stops. I'm not saying douse the iPad or nothing like that. I'm just saying wipe it down with a light mist, let it all dry, and then go back to it, and all of a sudden it's fine. So it's all those things. It's reconnecting it to the top. Sometimes just disabling the Bluetooth and reconnecting it. That's in a more an extreme situation. Shutting down the app, shutting down background apps can help. Yeah, it's kind of sad. You got to know all that and do all that, but it can be quite finicky at times. But regardless, I mean, it's a lot faster inking process for me personally, and it is capturing a video at the same time, which obviously I'm recording with the top-down camera, but it is recording that video in the Procreate app as well. You see, just trying to get in some different cross-hatching, some different mark making, soften up some of those transitions, make some areas that look cooler. One of my favorite things too that I can't seem to recreate traditionally yet, and I do mean yet, but is like, all right, when I go to use whiteout on my inked work, if it's a smaller piece, I really struggle. Like I can't get the whiteout to like blend well, or not blend, but get those finer details. Where with this, I just turn that brush to white and then go right over top of the inks and get all those finer details. I can sculpt the shapes of the highlights and the shadows and things like that. So to me, the finer control is a big deal. But I know that, like anything else, that comes with time. And you see amazing inkers out there. They don't have any problems with it. It's just bridging that gap, putting in the time, being dedicated to the end result. Yeah, I started doing this lighter hatch work on the face, and then I'm like, I don't like it. So I sat there and probably spent, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes doing that before I'm like, I don't think this looks good, and then just got it out of there. And also right about now, or shortly after, I don't remember exactly when, I guess, I noticed that the neck is too long on the character. And, I think it was honestly the following morning, which happens to me a lot. Like I'm drawing something, I'm too close to the work apparently, and I'm sitting there thinking it all looks good, and the next day I see it and some glaring thing just stands out, which is why I really think it's always a good idea to wait at least a day before sharing the work. It's hard because sometimes you're excited and you just want people to see what you're working on, but if you're like me, sometimes those things that you just miss become painfully obvious the following day. So it is what it is. But the thing is that one of the neat things about working in this way is that it's pretty darn easy to fix. So at the end of this, I'm going to show you in real time how even if you have multiple layers, it's super easy and effective to change that inside of an app like Procreate. It's very simple, which I'm extremely grateful for because I seem to use it a lot. So at this point, just doing some final touch-ups and, checking the line work and a little bit more line weight, little bits of hatching, but it's pretty much done. And so I'll stop right here and I'll show you how we can fix the work if need be with layers. Okay, so real quick, I figured I would show you a way that you can touch up or edit something like this. So as I mentioned, I feel like his neck's a bit long. I even feel like the cape should probably come down into here more on each side, but I don't know. I feel like that's maybe doable. Here, I'll just make a couple quick changes to show you how easy it is. This is one of the things I'm really happy about. So say you are like me and you build up multiple layers as you're working on something. I tend to have one for rendering, one for shadows. Maybe you colorized it. It's just neat that all you have to do is select one. See, this one's not toggled on. I was messing up with the bat symbol. I'm not going to worry about that. Delete that. And then swipe over on the next one. Now notice it's a little bit darker blue. Basically both are selected now. And what I want to do is select with the freehand selection tool. I'm going to go right through here, like so. I grab his big old bat head. And I'm going to just drop that way down to like here, about there. And I see it's really, I could have did it differently and salvaged just a bit better. I could have used a flood layer of white behind it, merged it and all this stuff. But this gives you an option to do it and not merge it all, which I like. And all you got to really do, uh, keep in mind if you say maybe if you did want to go back, all you would have to do really at this point is add a layer in between, select white, flood fill through there. And actually I'm going to bring that up because see that little black line there. Or you know what? Yeah, I'll just bring it on the very top. Click, hold, drag it up, let go. So you see, pretty easy to fix that. And I could go back if I absolutely had to. So yeah, it's neat when they have features like that. So I feel like his jaw almost looks a bit jetted out too far. You know what? The curvature right there is bugging me. Let's try that. Select the black, come back, clean that up a little bit. Oh, and I originally had these lines coming in like this. I also feel, let's see, where is, well, same thing. I'm going to select all of it. And I want to test moving this over a little bit. Yeah, good enough. Okay, so now with the arm, go back to this top layer and select this. I just want to see if it looks any better if I bring this into here. Into here, but really on this side I'm going to bring it out this way. So you see just little edits like that are super easy to do. I could come back with white as well. And I could get another fold in this cape. Yeah, super easy. So there it is. That'll bring this one to a close. Hope you've enjoyed today's video and check back for the next one where we use the Ohuhu markers to color this up. Thanks for watching and good luck with your art.